Okay, so as you can see at the end of January 2018, there's actually going to be a Forzathon challenge that will require you to use the Ford GT40 Mark II in order to win the Ford GT Horizon Edition. So you might be thinking to yourself, okay Stevio, that's absolutely wonderful, but why the hell are you telling us this now? Well, because this car is 3.3 million credits, and I know for a fact that not everyone has it, and on top of that I also know that not everyone has 3.3 million credits just laying around and available to be spent on just about anything. So today I want to review this car, tell you how I feel about its performance and if I think it's fun to drive, but also more importantly, is this car worth it? Does it make sense to buy it to complete that Forzathon challenge? So the first thing, this thing does have a deep history. I mean, if you want to go look up stuff about it, you might be pretty amazed by the facts about this car's history and everything, but it's certainly a very unique car. Not the most beautifully designed car, I wouldn't say, but very unique, and it is just really cool to have. And I'm sure that the collectors here in Forza Horizon 3 already do have this thing, but most people probably don't just because of how expensive it is, and just because there's so many other cars that, I mean, me personally at least, I would prefer to have over this thing for the amount of credits. But in terms of performance, I didn't love the car, but I wouldn't say I hated it either. Now, the main reasons I didn't like it is overall the car just kind of feels sluggish, I'm gonna say, just the way the gears are set up mainly, and the way the car launches. I mean, it is rear-wheel drive, it makes a lot of power, and surprisingly, a ton of the weight is in the back of the car, but the grip is really still not all that great. And another thing, I feel like most people should notice this when they drive some of the older cars here in Forza Horizon 3. When you go to make turns at higher speeds, your car starts to sway quite a bit, and it's no different with this thing. You do feel it. I do have to say though, it is more stable than a lot of the other classic cars in Forza Horizon 3, but it still has that kind of feeling where it feels slow going around turns. Like, it just starts to sway, you lose acceleration, and you don't maintain your grip, so it really just makes it feel weird. But the main thing is there's only 4 gears on this car, and they're all super long, so although this thing is actually fast for being near the top of the A-Class and being a classic racer, it just feels sluggish still because of how long the gears are, because the RPMs drop down really low, the gear extends for a very long time, and when you're racing it, you feel like you're blowing by other people, but when you're just cruising around and really just thinking about how fast you're going, for some reason the car doesn't feel all that great. And the braking is like just okay, the handling, like I said, the car turns pretty well, but it does sway, and you lose some of your momentum and acceleration when you start to sway. So the best way I can summarize is it just feels sluggish, and because of that, the car really doesn't feel all that fun to drive, in my personal opinion. Now, when you go to race it, which you will see a race on unbeatable difficulty against all classic racers, which is the category that this car is from, I do an uphill sprint race and this thing just destroys because of how much power it makes. It's very powerful, but I still didn't find it to be all that fun just because of how sluggish the gears feel and just the handling kind of characteristics, I guess we'll say. So overall, the car doesn't feel amazing to summarize, but it's certainly a unique feel, just one that doesn't really go with my taste. Although I generally do like long gear ratios, this car's gear ratios are just way too long. But in terms of buying this car, first thing I gotta say is do not buy it right now. There's 2 Forzathon events coming up, and just keep up with my Forzathon videos. There's probably 2 chances you're gonna have that are gonna be way more productive to buy this thing during Forzathon events rather than just buying it right now for 3.3 million credits. So don't buy the car now. But the only 2 reasons I see to actually go and buy this thing is A, if you're a collector, like I mentioned, I mean, you're gonna want all the cars. This is a perfect time to buy this one because you're actually gonna have a reason to have the car. And also though, if you're someone like me who likes to complete all of the Forzathon challenges regardless of credits, if you have a ton of credits like I do, it really does not matter either. So if you don't have a lot of credits though, and you don't really think that you're gonna like this car, The Ford GT Horizon Edition, you can get at the auction house for probably 1,000,000 credits, if not less. There's tons of them in the auction house. I just looked today, so spending 3.3 million credits when you can just go buy a Ford GT Horizon Edition for around 1,000,000 credits, yeah, it really doesn't make sense, right? So that's the other way to look at it. Now, the only other thing I really have to say about it is, if you really just want to have this car, I mean, you can obviously upgrade it, you can make it feel better, and make it faster, make it handle better, and all that good stuff. But see, me personally, I don't do motor swaps, I don't do all-wheel drive swaps. I want this car to actually feel like the Ford GT40 Mark II. I mean, it has a unique feel, and I don't want to take that away, but I simply just don't really like the way it feels. So, you know, it's a cool car, it's certainly a classic car, it's a collector's car, but it doesn't feel amazing to drive, and it's certainly not worth getting if you just want the Ford GT Horizon Edition. So, the one other thing I do want to mention though, another reason not to buy this thing, is the challenge to win the Ford GT Horizon Edition is to win a championship using this GT40 Mark II. So, you're probably going to end up having to do that in single player, but let's just say there's a chance that you can do that championship in multiplayer. You can play with someone like me that already has this car and just borrow the Mark II GT40 here. So if you do that, then you don't have to waste any credits at all, and you can still go and win that Ford GT Horizon Edition. Now, there's no guarantee that that's going to be a thing and that will work, so don't go by that. Don't think that's going to be the way to go, but the thing I gotta say for sure is just be patient. Don't buy this car yet. You know, just be aware though that you're going to need this thing if you do want to complete that Forzathon challenge and be the first owner of a Ford GT Horizon Edition if you don't already have one, because the Ford GT Horizon Edition was available before, so some people should have that car, and I just want to make sure that people don't waste their money on this thing if they don't truly need it. So I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it to be helpful or useful in one way or another, but let me know what you think of this Ford GT40 Mark II. Thanks for watching. Peace.